I mean, like Rengoku, Mister. I don't know. Like he's the only person I know in this
We don't have to
series.
sugarcoat it. He's a bitch. He's just
Yeah.
He sucks.
Thanks for comment on this video, Beller. I appreciate it.
Okay, first off, it's my video, so I don't know where you're getting this energy from.
Oh, today we're gonna be talking about the Hashira rankings.
Yeah, and how
A lot of
everyone's
people
just got
been-
like a terrible opinion. They're just wrong.
Yeah, they're just really shitty.
They're it's just wrong. Like, I think
Garbage opinions on everything. Like,
they suck. But
yeah, especially in a series full of people that use like Play-Doh swords and shit to fight like zombies or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I know it's kind of weird, the basic scaling.
it's pretty simple series, not much depth there. But
Yeah.
I think we could just go right into it and start at number 9. The weakest Hashira, but also the most drippiest.
Oh gosh.
We have that, the Go Uzui, the menace himself.
Yeah. Little Uzi.
Lil
He's goated,
Uzi.
man.
So
I would say.
Uzui scales to like the lowest upper moon, which is upper moon 6, Gyutaro and Daki. Those like fucking losers. He did shit on Daki. I ain't gonna cap. He beat that bitch up. He stole the fucking money, bro. Like she got beat up. So she had to call in her big brother Gyutaro. Gyutaro pulled up, and he just put in the moves on like Uzui. Uzui was kind of getting he was kind of getting bitched, bro. I ain't gonna cap. Like Gyutaro was like, he started pulling out those little mini scythes. He was like, yeah, square up, bitch. He kind of shitted on him, and he had Tanjiro helping him too. He's just kind of fucking him up.
Yeah, he had Tanjiro right there. Still kind of getting bodied. I'm not gonna lie.
He's kind of getting his ass handed to him. I ain't gonna cap. Then
Yeah, I mean, like, isn't that like a trend though? Like the most drippy characters just getting bodied and dogged on. Like,
yeah, it is kind of, they are kind of rats and demons. Like they do have to have rat pack like everyone.
yeah,
You had like Zetsu, you had Inosuke, you had Tanjiro, and you had Hashira all jumping this dude, and they were still getting slapped. Like that's rough. They're down bad.
yeah. I feel like honestly, besides like just like the overwhelming drip, like I mean, like he definitely is the cleanest in the show, the series, everything.
Listen,
but like
he could
I
drop
don't
like
know.
an album called Eternal Take. I'd listen to that shit, bro. I'd listen to that shit in a heartbeat.
I probably listen to it too. Like I'm not gonna lie, it might be he. Like
It would be.
the little Slayer on the track.
Yeah.
the Hashira vocals in the back. I don't know. It might be Heat.
Got the Gyu feature. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one who would be featured probably the most is, fortunately and unfortunately for him, our next spot. Because unfortunately for Uzui, he has like very little to talk about. He scales to like the lowest upper moons, and he just has them straight. That's all he has really going for him. But a number 8 spot. Whoa.
Oh gosh.
We have that man himself, Rengoku. No.
Oh, or we're talking about trash this early?
Damn. You really have to do him like that? Wow.
I mean, like Rengoku, Mister. I don't know. Like he's the only person I know in this.
We don't have to
series
sugarcoat it. He's a bitch. He's just
Yeah.
He sucks.
He has a whole attack named after him and everything, and he just I don't know. Like,
Bro,
let's
he
go
uses-
over some of his accomplishments. Let's just go over his.
Yeah, let's go down the list. So we
The
got
very few. The very
he got
few.
what did he do? He saved Tanjiro. Yeah, he saved a bunch of random people on a train. That was his life's accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean that was like his big thing too, like his big mission. Like your first day on the job, all right, you're supposed to go on this train. Hey, yeah, bro, I'm just gonna have you eating a bunch of fucking bentos in the middle of the train. Not really like searching, being like. We even see Tanjiro go on missions through the series, and he's just like hard working. He's really into it and everything. And then this dude just gets off the train.
And the
he just
difference with
encounters-
Tanjiro is Tanjiro came back
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah, and Tanjiro comes back from his missions.
He's fine,
First
bro.
mission just gets dropped.
The first time we see Rengoku, he's like, yeah, let's kill this kid, this like 13-year-old kid. Let's kill this dude. Let's fuck him up.
Oh, God.
And then like he really switched on him, bro. He was like, yeah, let's kill this kid. 10 minutes later, he's his best friend. He's a rat. He's a betrayer.
I I feel like though, as far as like I don't know, just Rengoku's feats go, and just like what he's accomplished, it's like man, he was just getting the shit slapped out of him by Akaza. And I know like some people are gonna be like, you know, like regeneration and like all of this stuff, but it's just like, bro, like Akaza is using like vacuum punches, bullying him, laughing, mocking in his face, like calling him trash. He's like, yeah, bro, like you need to become a monster on some like One Punch Man shit. He's just like, yeah, nah, like I'm good, bro, I'm good.
And then he's
like,
when he speaks to Tanjiro later on, he's like, yeah, he probably reached his cap. He hit the level cap, bro. He's not getting any faster. He's not getting any faster. He's not getting any stronger. He's probably his peak, and his peak was getting violated by Akaza.
oh
Man,
my
he didn't even
gosh.
use his
Peak of
strongest
his
techniques.
power.
He just punched him and he died. He was like
Yeah,
kicking him.
Rengoku won that fight. Rengoku won.
won.
Yeah, bro. Like he's like, and you have like Akaza just standing there, and something I find funny is that like, I mean, Akaza who's just like arguably holding back like during this encounter, just engagement with like Rengoku in general. I just found that like very hilarious to me. To
Dude,
be
he's
honest,
not even using any of the strongest techniques. Like,
yeah.
and then after that fight, he thinks like, maybe, man, that's kind of an accomplishment. Wow. He goes and tells Muzan, and Muzan's like, what, you fucking proud of yourself? And he beats up Akaza for thinking he should be proud of that.
You think you're hot shit for beating Rengoku? What the fuck?
He sucked. He was like, really packed his ass.
Don't get me started on like Tanjiro too. Like Tanjiro's like he's like spurring and he's so bad that like Akaza just dies and he's just like, oh okay, well like you suck, bro. Like, you're a bitch. Like,
he's like crying his eyes out, throwing swords at
like me.
No,
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason? What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason?
So he's like, man, shit, the sun's coming up. I want to get sunburned. So he runs off and he just gets sniped by Tanjiro. Akaza's kind of
I feel bad for the man. I'm not gonna lie though, and apparently like even Rengoku like much later in this series, like apparently like his best accomplishment in life is having like a kid that was just like never shown or something.
Bro, we
like,
know what he was thinking about on that train. He had descendants. He was on his way to that train. He was like, oh yo, let me call my side real quick.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me. Like he just dies. Not only is he trash, he's a deadbeat father. Like he just dies or something.
Bro,
he's talking to Tanjiro.
He told his girl, I'm gonna go get some milk real quick, and he never came back.
He's like talking to Tanjiro like your last fucking words. You could tell this man to talk to your family, talk to this girl who you apparently been like, I don't know, you've been smashing like with no rubber and all of this stuff, and it's just like, yeah, let me not even mention that like my girl, my kid. Like, let me not mention any of this.
He didn't even talk about it. He's like, oh, family? Yeah. What kind of family? Fuck you guys. I'm gonna go fight this Upper Moon 3, and he gets slapped. He gets violated.
Oh
he gets packed out of cool.
A weaker suppressed Upper Moon 3 at that. It's terrible.
It's down bad. And then people are like, whoa, he did better than you did. He definitely did better than you did.
Yeah, he did better. Yeah, no, like Giyu. Yeah, we'll get into that later for like the Giyu stuff, but definitely Giyu definitely did better on top of fighting a stronger Akaza. So
he violated Akaza. Like it's not even close what he did to him, but we can get to that later. But after Rengoku, the lamest fucker in the series is Shinobu. Now Shinobu's like she didn't train at all. She just sat around making poisons all day, and she's Upper Moon 2 level. So she was kind of putting the hands on Doma. I ain't got a cap, but she was like inting. She was just purposely dying. She sat Canal down, put her arm on her. She's like, listen, I need to die in this fight. Canal was kind of confused.
Yeah,
like, wait,
much.
why? What's going on? She's like, listen, don't talk. I just need to die in this fight. So kind of ratting on Canal, and then she did put the moves on Doma. She did blitz his ass. He was like, what the fuck? He's just so fast. Then like stabbed her in his neck, and while she's like pinned him to the roof, he just gives her a hug and kills her. She just dies. She gets hugged to death.
It's also so hilarious because like when you think about like the whole forest situation from the mountain, the fact that like Shinobu, who like they all go up there, and then you have like Shinobu like holding down Giyu, and we never see train to just scale into like a stronger like Upper Moon. That's just like crazy to me. Like,
and then she like it's an L in her part because the very next person introduced this Canal, and Dome was like, damn, this bitch is even faster than the last person I just fought. It was Shinobu. It's like, how does it feel that your apprentice is stronger than you? How does that feel? How must that feel? Like, is that validating or is that an L? I can't decide.
It's kind of an L, bro. Like, it'll be okay, like, over time. Like, maybe if you passed away. But no, it's like, bro, you're active, you're in the field. And at best, all you can do is just sacrifice yourself to try to get a dub. Kind of lame.
And they did, bro, they had to rat pack him after, and he still almost killed both of them. Kanao had to pull out, like, our strongest move to beat Doma. He was like, damn, like, he really, like, just did nothing to help.
Shinobu's like, I don't know, a competitive Halo player that, like, throws a plasma on herself and then just, like, runs into an opponent and just explodes. She's like, yeah, eat my poison.
No, she's like that Battlefield 4 player who puts C4 on the Jeep and drive it into someone.
Yeah, you're going down with me, man. You're going down with the Jeep.
She really ratted. But her poisons, it's like debatable whether her poisons actually work on people or not, because they're always like specifying how it's like effective against like demons. But it's also kind of a question of, okay, well, yeah, some things are like poisonous to dogs, but they're not poisonous to humans, right? And, like, they're constantly talking about how like demons are like just entirely different from humans. So it's like, does it really work on humans? Like, if a human like tanked that poison, would they just keel over and die, or what would happen? It's never really made clear. So it's kind of hard to even like argue like.
Let's say even make the claim on that. To be honest, there's like a lot of different routes you can go with like assuming that, and there's like the whole concept thing with like demons, like. You can argue like it's just conceptual in a sense. So
yeah, and how demons have no concept of injury or stamina. And it's also the case of like, without her poison, Shinobu's useless. She's just completely useless. She can't even cut a demon's head off. That's why she lost.
Yeah, she's like, she even admits that, I'm pretty sure.
Doma's like, man, if you're strong enough to cut my head off, you probably would have won this. But you're not.
Yeah. Too bad you're like trash. You know what's funny? Like during that whole arc while like Tanjiro's training at her crib and all that shit, it's like, bro, what the hell is Shinobu doing? Like,
yeah, she's like, I can't participate in the Hashira training.
Yeah, I don't need to do any of this. Yeah,
I don't need any of it. She just like lifted some weights, like did some training. She would have been like UM1 level. She would have won that fight, but you know, she was slacking. She got caught lacking.
Yeah, R.I.P. Shinobu, bro.
R.I.P. Shinobu, but. Moving on from Shinobu is the 6th strongest Hashira, Muichiro. And Muichiro, he scales to UM1, or Upper Moon 1, Kokoshiba. And Kokoshiba, like, initially when they fought, he like looked, and he wasn't even gonna draw his sword. He was like, man, I should draw my sword, otherwise it'd be really rude of me. Like, I don't want to offend you. And the second he draws it, Muichiro just gets violated. He just gets his arm cut off. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Muichiro was hyped too. He was like, I'm in my mark state. I'm gonna beat this dude. I'm gonna fight this dude. He just gets his arm sliced off. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's funny how he's like hyped in this like particular moment, bro. Like for the most part when we see him, he's just like staring into the clouds. He's like that one slow dude in like, I don't know, your math class. You just catch him drifting off. He's just staring into the air.
He's looking out the window with his fist on his cheek. He's not looking.
Let me put the one anime character. He's just on the field. He's pointing at the sky, like a weed in his mouth or something. Like
he's like the main character from Mob Psycho. He's just like in his own world. You know what I mean?
Pretty bland, and he's just so hyped just to get like trashed.
He gets violated. He gets one shot. that movie, Coco's so like disappointed in him. He's like, listen, you want to be a demon, bro? Like, I can make you a demon if you want. Like, imagine that. This strongest like Upper Moon's pitying you so much. He's like, listen, you want to be a demon? I'll help you out. I'll do you a solid real quick.
Yeah, bro. Okay, you know, another ultimatum presented in front of people that they just refuse. Nah, you know, I'm okay with my humanity. You know, being a human is all. You know, you're a pussy for not, you know, deciding to be a human and all. Damn. But yeah, I'm just gonna die. Yeah,
really like Rengoku should have taken that offer, bro. He really got. Man, let's go back to that. Let's go pack him again. He sucks. Oh my god. Akaza was like, hey, listen, you want to be a demon, bro? You can like get some new level. You get some new strength. We can make you strong. And he's like, nah, I don't need that. Dies immediately.
This is confronted to a lot of demon slayers. Just Hashiras are like confronted with that a lot. I mean, well, not a lot of demon slayers to be honest, because sometimes like the upper moons and the lower ones just don't give a fuck. They just kill everybody. They're just like, yeah, you guys are garbage. But like,
so the ones with
potential. Yeah. Potential candidates.
Man, It really,
Definitely.
Muichiro, to be fair to him though, later on, once he gets his STW, he does scale to Kokushibo. He's able to react to like one of his attacks. He's able to save Saname's life mid-swing from like a slightly enraged Kokushibo, but Kokushibo in that fight wasn't really trying. Even up to the point where he dies, he's not even really trying. He's just like, man, you guys suck. You gotta like, oh, you like ripped my threads. Damn, you guys proud of yourself?
That was
You happy?
so crazy, bro. It's like that's like imagine you're just like you're in a fight with somebody and like you're just swapping hands and like you just start beating the shit out of them, you're slapping them, you're piecing them in the mouth, and some guy just steps on your white forces or some shit. You're like, yeah, bro, you touched my kicks, like, okay.
It's like when Boros was like fighting Saitama, and he kicks him into like the mood. He's like, yes, I got that dude. I'm the strongest.
Yeah,
Saitama just comes back. He's like, yo, what's good?
Damn, you ripped my cape a little, bro.
Damn,
Like-
you're gonna have to pay for that. Like, I'll send you the bill. He just punches him in his skull.
I mean, Morichiro doesn't really have too much circulating around him. Though.
Maybe if you spoke to someone like someone who's a bit slow, you know, they just kind of they need, when they're in class, they need the teacher to stand next to them to, you know, help them understand the question, you know, that infinite strength statement, you know.
Yeah,
It's slow, they might believe that, but it's more hyperbole.
That's a little true, bro. Like a bunch of people with like, I don't know, Lego swords, you know, infinite strength. It's like so consistent with them, like, I don't know, struggling to break walls and shit and boulders. I don't know, like very consistent with the series. I have to say that, hands down.
Yeah, it's very consistent. It's just hyperbole. What I mean by infinite strength is how the mark is like a 100 times down. You can see my video on that. But
yeah, definitely.
after that is the thickest bitch, Kanroji. Now Kanroji is.
Oh man.
I might have to
Kanroji.
keep quiet. I might have to keep quiet. I might say something. Like
Nah, you can keep quiet, but I just know if I was in Demon Slayer, I would have done some illegal things to Kanroji, man. Like I'm not gonna,
fuck.
you know.
Correct. Okay. All right. So, again, what brings you out here today?
Well, I was coming out here to.
Glasses off.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home. There was, you know, nothing that was going to be sexual involved because I'm not like that. You know, well, obviously the text messages and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was all that was going to happen.
Oh, okay. So, you should title a video instead of, you know, your video almost threw hands with a 13-year-old. You should title your video almost hands with a 13-year-old. I think that'll get a lot of hits, EDP.
I think so.
I'm not gonna say what I was gonna do, but you know, let's just say Kanroji can do a little something.
She's pretty flexible.
Yeah, she's speaking. Yeah, she's flexible enough to like only dodge like Muzan's attacks. That's it.
Yeah, she was really
that.
struggling against Muzan. She had like a lot of difficulties.
Like, all I can do is dodge, man. Yeah.
Yeah, she was just like, yeah, I'm only dodging through luck, which could be a hack in and of itself. Like, she fought him for something like 30 minutes straight and was dodging all of his attacks and was like, man, I'm dodging through luck. And then Gyome looks at her, he's like, the one time she gets hit, Gyome looks at her, is like, man, she should have dodged that. What the hell? So she might be downplaying herself, like, or she's just that lucky. But it's way safer to say that she's actually just that fast. And if she's that fast, she should blitz everyone below her, like, completely.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, on top of that, her character, at least from where we see her on screen, like even like we just look at her just standing or just being anywhere, like she always like blush marks. She appears to be very shy, very timid. You know, it's fair to assume that she like underestimates herself, where she's not really one to like speak out on stuff, maybe downplay herself a little bit. So I mean, her dodging attacks is probably at least consistent within the narrative. Could just be underestimating herself.
A lot of time with Iguro, because you know she's a simp for Iguro, as we all are.
Yeah.
And his abilities are like very similar to hers in the way they can bend their sword. Especially with Kanroji, she turns her sword into like a skipping rope, bro. That thing goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And
this is the first time, I don't know. The first time the hot girl simped for Orochimaru in the series. I don't know.
Don't be downplaying discount Orochimaru. He's strong as fuck. He'll beat your ass. He will. He'll violate you.
This Kamaru Orochimaru, he's pretty potent, man.
No, he's definitely the definition of a white knight now. But we'll get to Iguro in a moment.
Mr. White Knight himself later.
But to sum up on Kanroji, she like beat up Upper Moon 4. She kind of like beat his ass. Then she like fights Muzan, and she's doing like fairly. For like someone who's fighting Muzan, she's doing pretty well. Like,
yeah, I mean, Muzan is like hyped up to be the end all be all until like what happens later. But
he gets Muzan
definitely is like powerful.
Just gets finessed.
The power Clifford.
Tanjiro like he just mellows out. He's like, yo, I'm gonna kill you. I'm just gonna kill you. Like Muzan's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, fuck you, Muzan.
What? Muzan kind of got shocked. He was like, what? But after Kanroji, who doesn't really have a lot to say about her, she's got really good technique. She's got super speed. She kind of gets cliffed out by the other people on the list. Which next is okay. So I'm gonna get like a lot of hate for putting him here, but number 4 is Gyome. Gyome is so overhyped. So
Gyome, he's the stone pillar is the strongest Hashira in the verse.
Like every time I look at his scaling, he just somehow gets worse to me. Like he just like I'll discover new things. I'm like, wow, it just makes Gyome worse. he just sucks. He is so.
Gyome definitely is. Okay, I feel like you have like two different types of people. There's like the people that like, I don't know, the dick riders for like obviously Rengoku. And then there's the people that are just like the Gyome tards of Gyome is the strongest in the verse, stone pillar supreme. Like, I don't know. It's like kind of sad to see considering like how bad he kind of got shitted on. But
yeah, he did really good against Kokoshibo. Kind of packed him, kind of stole his lunch money a little bit. Then he got packed back. But in that Muzan fight, he arrives, he pulls up, he's like, I'm finally here, guys. You're all saved. And then he just gets violated. He just gets beat up.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't do anything the entire time except save other people. And then when Iguro just like chads out, Gyome's like, finally, I have some space to actually do something. And he makes his sword a bit better. And then he gets blitzed and he gets one shot. He loses his leg. He becomes a cripple.
Yeah.
He's just crippled.
That's definitely there for Gyome. I do like the conversation between him and Coco. I thought that was like pretty cool though. Like he kind of was like packing him a little bit.
He was kind of getting in his head. Like Kokoshiba started shaking. He was like, I hit a nerve, didn't I? He blitzed over to him. He was like, you better fucking watch him. Coco was mad after he told him that.
Yeah, he's just like, your mom's a hoe. You have Coco having a breakdown, bro. Like
Coco's no saint either. He looked in the mirror and actually died. Like
yeah, bro. Like another case of somebody this series just killing themselves just because. Like yeah.
they just thought about themselves for like a minute and died. Like they're like, man, was it really worth it? Like no, it really wasn't. They just died.
Damn, bro.
They don't become a hero. They don't change philosophies. They just kick the bucket. They just fall over.
Yeah, I had this philosophical value I built up for, I don't know, like maybe 100 plus, 100 to 200 years, give or take, but I really like the fact that you didn't convince me, but I'm one ugly motherfucker, so I convinced myself.
I literally just stopped fighting for 2 minutes and I realized I'm a terrible person. I should just kill myself.
Yeah, bro. Like, you didn't look in your reflection for like 800 years to realize that you've been an ugly motherfucker. Like, you kind of been sacrificed to humanity and shit, bro. Like, you're a little too late, Coco. Like, I'm being honest.
In Akaza's case, it's like fine because he had amnesia and he didn't really remember. And it took Tanjiro actually beating his ass for him to remember. But for Kokoshibo, he was just jealous of his brother. He was just like, man, I wish I was as strong. Why is Yoriichi always so strong? Why can't I be that strong? Yeah. Then he like kept fighting. He was like, man, Yoriichi was a goat and he just dies. But that's Gyome, he's just overrated as hell. Like his best feats are just being relative to Muzan, and that's with 5 people jumping Muzan instead of the 3.
He doesn't even perform the best against Muzan. Like especially compared to some other people like Iguro and etc.
Yeah,
Like-
you could say, like, oh, maybe he was tired but he just...
tired
but-
after the Coco fight. That's
but,
a
like, so was
There's
everyone
nothing
else.
to really support him. Yeah, being stronger, and everybody else kind of just followed. Like you had, we'll get to Giyu in a bit, but like obviously Giyu just the whole arc. Like, bro, like okay, let me fight a Kaza. All right, from a Kaza, yeah, we're about to fight. Muzan.
He
After
fights
Muzan.
he fights Akaza, and he's just so tired. He's like, man, I've been fighting at full power. I can bet he literally, after that fight ends, he falls asleep on the spot. He just collapses and falls asleep. So does Tanjiro.
Yeah.
Like, Tanjiro is so tired in that fight, and he fought less than Giyu, and he can't even hold his sword. His sword literally slips out of his hands. And then here comes Giyu. He just like squares up to Muzan. He's like, bet, let's go. He does rest a little
let's
bit,
go.
but nowhere near as like enough. to, like,
Yeah, and
actually
he
go for
just
cover.
he ends up just fighting again right after that. But that's a crazy
in Guillemets'
thing.
case,
so-
like, sure, like you could say like Guillemets was like tired and like he recovered, but he also got stronger because every time like someone fights, they do get stronger and they rapidly climb to someone else's strength. So you could say at the start he was maybe tired and that's why he didn't get good feats, but he should have rapidly climbed to Muzan's level, and still.
obviously you have a
wasn't getting
blatant
anything.
blatant explanation with people like Giyu jumping from a Kaza level, Upper Moon 3, and let me just jump up again. Let me jump up to Muzan, Kabuchi,
And
etc.
These other people are like fighting Muzan for much longer, and they're also having better feats. So what does Guillemets really have? Oh, he's stated to be the strongest, bro. Inosuke's like, yeah, this dude's definitely the strongest. But well, there's like 6 more days of Hashira training after that, and they fight multiple people. So sure, he could be the strongest at the time. Doesn't mean anything. He sucks.
to be the strongest, bro. Literally.
He's the strongest.
strong.
Like, what if I just said it's physical strength? What then?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because Iguro would just blitz him. And we can go. We can move on to
pretty
him
big
now.
motherfucker. Yeah.
Iguro's actually like, he's been
Iguro's a
downplayed
beast.
for so long.
Iguro's
People are
a-
like,
Iguro's
Iguro's
a
like
beast.
7th strongest Hashira. That dude sucks. He loses to Sasuke.
Wow.
And it's like,
Yikes.
this Count Orochimaru is so strong, it's actually ridiculous. So not only does he just decide, because he was in base, he was fighting Muzan in base all the way up to like halfway through the fight. Then he gets the mark and the red blade at the same time. He's like, square up. And he blitzes Muzan twice in succession. In succession. He just pulls up to him. And bear in mind, before this, he was still able to reach Muzan and cut like his neck open. Like, the only reason Muzan didn't get decapitated and died there and then is because of his regen. If he was any other demon, he'd be dead. Iguro would have soloed. He'd be like, yep, job done. But here, he just blitzes him twice. Like, he hits Muzan so fast and so hard with his red blade that Muzan's arms just separate. He has to regen new arms.
He definitely has a bunch of blitz feats on Muzan in general. And he has like a lot of feats of reacting to like Muzan's like tentacles and shit. So
And even he also blitzes Giyu. Like, Giyu's running to him, he's like gonna save him. He's like, no, why did he's dead. He just like looks up and he's like, Iguro dodged the attack, is in the sky, and he's just like, wait, what? He just had no idea what happened. But not only is he blitzing the other Hashira and Muzan, but he gets further amps with the SDW, or the see-through world. And the see-through world is like, we already know in the Akaza fight what happens with this.
Kaza versus Tanjiro.
So Tanjiro,
That's a
like,
good example of that recently.
it's stated in that fight that like the see-through world just dramatically increases your evasion speeds and your like just general senses. Like, to Tanjiro, he was
also-
watching Akaza and Giyu, and they were like in slow motion. He was like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah, it also just like gives you the passive ability to just make like retards kill themselves, like a Kaza.
You
So
just do that. And it gives you the ability to see like muscles contracting and blood vessels and organs.
Yeah.
Like, he just looks at Muzan, you can see all of his organs. Like, think that's such a that's such a skill feat. All Guillemets says is, hey, just look a little harder at what's his called, Muzan. Just look at him. Just stare at him. And he looks at him and he gets see-through world. Like, power just comes so naturally to Iguro that
yeah,
you could have all this narrative in the world for like Guillemets, right, for being the strongest, and then you could just point to Iguro and be like, look what he did. Look what.
yeah, you have like I don't know, like I think Orochimaru, like he definitely performed the best against like Michael
Like,
Jackson.
Imagine that. Imagine what's the strongest thing in Naruto? Like the Sage Mode, 6 pass Sage Mode, right? Let's take that. Imagine you have Naruto working his ass off for 6 pass Sage Mode, right? He gets all these abs. He gets it. He like spent 12 days training for it or something, right? And then Orochimaru just comes along. He's like, hey, just like look at Madara real quick. And he looks at Madara and he gets 6 pass Sage Mode. He just looks at him and he gets it.
The flex, bro. Like, yeah, let me see that technique. Let me borrow that real quick, bro.
And then the biggest thing in that fight is the Hashira Blitz. Muzan blitzes all of the Hashira, but the injuries on everyone else is so significant. They're missing limbs and things, and like in Saname's case, who suffered like the least injury, you could say, or like what we thought was the least injury, is he's crippled. He doesn't even wake up until both fights have ended. The entire like arc has ended is when he wakes up. And
understood.
Yeah, and Iguro when we see him next, all he has is 3 cuts on his face, 3 slashes, and obviously Muzan's intent is to kill those Hashira. That's why he aimed for like vital spots, because we know blood loss is a serious problem in like Demon Slayer. Like even Wichiro's like, I'm small, so I bleed out faster, so injuries are really dangerous for me. Same with Iguro. Iguro's like super small. Like that's how Gyomei dies. He literally bleeds to death because he's missing a leg. But we'll get to someone else is missing an arm, and they tank it. They just survive.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, Bakugo.
We'll talk about them. Yeah, actual beast. But so discount Orochimaru is like
Bakugo himself
has 3 slashes on his face, and obviously Muzan's intent was probably to slice his head in half, but he failed to do that. So what that means is either Iguro just dodged backwards and it only grazed him, or he actually like somewhat blocked the attacks and just got thrown backwards. Because Iguro's also the first one to wake up, and he's also the first one to start fighting Muzan again, aside from Tanjiro, of course, who was knocked out the entire fight. So Iguro gets back up, and he's like tired as fuck. He's been fighting non-stop, and he just keeps fighting Muzan. He's just like, yeah, square up, while he's blind too.
That is very interesting. I like how all of them have they all have fatal injuries in some case. Or at least like they lose an arm, a leg. Some people get bodied, sent into the wall. You guys in that too, and Inosuke getting folded, and then you just have like this dude just gets like his eye slashed. He's just like, yeah, I'm blind and shit, but I'm still throwing hands. I'm just gonna keep fighting, keep reacting.
In some instances, he was even doing like better than Tanjiro was. Like when Muzan fires his like electrical attack, Iguro is actually able to like dodge it, whereas Tanjiro gets hit by it. And that Tanjiro at the time was like Muzan looked at him, was like, you're kind of like, Yorichi's kind of like, you're kind of reminding me of that Yorichi dude, like that dude.
Yeah,
the dude who gave it PTSD.
PTSD,
like,
bro. Yeah.
You kind of giving me those vibes right now.
It's like you have, it's very funny. It's kind of like the same instance from Naruto. It's like whenever Sasuke like puts Orochimaru in Genjutsu, it's like, yeah, bro, I'm kind of thinking about Itachi right now. Like what PTSD is tripping.
Like the level of PTSD that like Muzan has for Yorichi is like, when Orochimaru like Kakashi approached Orochimaru, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna take you on. And then Orochimaru just looked at him and he's like, what was I thinking? And like Kakashi breaks down. Like, what was I thought I was gonna die?
Nah, I think the worst one is Kurenai, bro. Yeah, let me try to put Itachi in the Genjutsu.
Let me try to put it was really that bad. It was definitely that bad. But that's how most Demon Slayers are. They'll like approach these upper moons like they were Kurenai trying to put Itachi in again.
Funny, let's not talk about how like Muzan, like he just got like violated too, by the way. Like he had to like split apart and shit.
Like he got blitzed so bad. I'm gonna make a video on Yorichi eventually because I think he's overhyped, probably even more so than Gyomei. But yeah, suffice to say, like Gyomei might actually beat his ass. Who knows? I don't want to say nothing too much, but Yorichi's not the best. But moving on to the person stronger than Yorichi, the actual like strongest in Demon Slayer, without a doubt, hands down, definitely the strongest Demon Slayer in the entire series is Giyu. Number 1, absolute beast. So Giyu is the coldest in the series, absolutely the coldest. Doesn't need friends.
Giyu just like, I don't know, like with the water techniques alone, he just gets your bitch wet, gets the demons wet, and he just completes the day, like all in a day's work.
he's like, if you converted Uzui's drip into just coldness, you would have Giyu like.
Yeah, you convert little Uzi, but actually give him feats this time. But like,
yeah, like Giyu is just such a beast. He has no armor, so it's kind of odd because he goes from getting blitzed by Iguro to like in base, bleeding out, fatigued as hell, barely able to stand, reacting to Demon Tanjiro. And Demon Tanjiro is like 2 times stronger than Muzan. He's Tanjiro who's already like relative to Muzan, plus all of Muzan's
yeah, there's
power.
like multiple statements to like confirm that as well. Like Demon Tanjiro kind of being above Muzan.
Yeah, Yurishiro, who watched the entire fight, literally just says, yeah, you were stronger than Muzan. You were just flat out stronger.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
That Demon Tanjiro was also able to resist the sun. He's just able to tank it and regen from it.
Yeah, he was just taking the sun. He ate that shit up, bro.
He had the mark too, so you could even say he was just like 100 times stronger than Muzan because he had Muzan's power and this mark, and he could still use the see-through ult. We don't know if he was using it in that fight, but if he's using all of his power, then it's likely. And here comes Giyu, just like off guard, not even like knowing what's going on. Saves this dude from like
saves everybody, reacts to Demon Tanjiro. And then you have Demon Tanjiro literally shooting Biju bombs as well, bro.
Yeah,
like
he shoots a Biju bomb and this dude tags it. Like he just moves out the way. He's like, wow, fuck, it's a Biju bomb. Wait, it's insane how much like damage Giyu had taken, including the Akaza fight. He never recovered from the Akaza fight. He still had all that damage.
Yeah, he's kind of just been taking damage and moving on to the next one over and over and over
He got
again.
poisoned, like had his cells destroyed. He got thrown around. He was fatigued as hell. He could barely move. Lost an arm. He just fights the strongest dude, the Demon Tanjiro, and he's just like, yeah, let's screw him. He's reacting to him constantly, and he has to worry about the people around him too. So it wasn't even a one-on-one. He was like, it was like Demon Tanjiro plus all these people he has to worry about, and he's still able to.
To be fair though, I mean, I feel like Giyu just fighting Demon Tanjiro in general is just is a very spectacle to see, especially with the approach of how like we know in the beginning of the series, like Giyu kind of just failed to like save Tanjiro's family because he was just out there like smashing some shit because apparently he just. Yeah, apparently he had like a kid, but we've never seen when this happens. And like he's like, yeah, you know, if only I was a little bit, you know, quicker, I would have been able to save your family, Tanjiro. I wonder what you were doing.
Tanjiro's there, like he walks up the hill and he sees this blood area on the snow. His family's dead. He's like,
yeah, why is my family
You see Giyu walking out the forest, like doing his zipper up. He's like, oh shit, I gotta go
Giyu
hide.
pulls his
runs
zipper
away,
up.
bro.
He's coming out of the forest and shit. That explains why he was just chill, like because like all the Demon Slayers, at least like all the Demon Slayers or the Hashiras, at least in the series, all kind of have this hatred towards demons or just don't fucking like them at all. So it's just like very interesting, like when he sees like Tanjiro and like Nezuko in this situation, like obviously there's a lot of options to weigh, especially with how like Nezuko was defending him and all this other stuff that was happening. But it's just like Giyu's just like more reluctant and like way more easygoing than he should have been in this case. I know, like maybe it might have been like the post pussy amp, bro. Like the pussy.
That's why he spared Nezuko, bro. He was like he released all that built up testosterone into his girl. He was like, man, I don't really have the energy to kill this bitch anymore. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of worn out. She really took it out of me. She was throwing it back a bit too hard.
I just find that hilarious that Giyu just magically had a kid somehow, and like apparently he was just late to, you know, saving Tanjiro's family.
A year
That's very
passed
interesting.
since the start of the series. So at some point, Tanjiro was out there fighting for his life, trying to kill demons, and Giyu was at home slamming. Like,
yeah, he's over here being a menace to society.
he's just the coldest, absolute beast. He's scaling.
I mean, like even his techniques in general, just his moves. Or you also have to go over like there's also like the Akaza fight because people try to downplay that. They're like, oh well, Giyu didn't really perform that well against the Akaza, or like Rengoku is stronger, but it's like a stronger Akaza using stronger techniques. Giyu literally gets his mark in everything, gets like it's 100 times amp, and then you have Akaza fighting the same Giyu who uses his compass that just makes all the stats equal to catch up to this Giyu. And then from that point on, they just start swapping hands at like this way superior level to what they were at before, which is just like insane.
Even at the start,
then he just gets
fight,
multiple times stronger
like,
too.
Akaza's hand is literally like not even inches; it is touching Tanjiro's neck, and Giyu comes from off screen, cuts his arm off, and saves Tanjiro all before Akaza can even move slightly forward. Not even. It's like the smallest distance imaginable, and he's still able to intercept. And that's basically
Giyu's still able to blitz
At that time, Giyu's swapping hands with Akaza, and he's not even pressed at that time. He's just not even pressed. Yeah. It's only after
There's also the water wheel feed. The water wheel feed is pretty good too as well. Like the fact that he was able to get a water wheel off, and then, like, because we know the startup for the water wheel is kind of tedious, and then after that you could argue it is like a quicker attack while you're in the motion of it. Then he just blitzes Akaza again from that instant. So and he's fighting Akaza the whole time as well. Like while Tanjiro is dazed, and he's like thinking in his thoughts and shit, and Giyu's over here like fighting for his life, just swapping hands.
So this is even more of an L for Rengoku. Rengoku's like one exchange, and his like lung is punctured, he's bleeding. I was like, oh, fuck, bro. And here's Giyu, not even on the front and center of the panel. He's in the background doing the same thing, but Tanjiro's spacing out, having a flashback arc, and Giyu's just out here boxing with Akaza. And Akaza's doing the same thing he did to Giyu, to Rengoku. He's like, man, you should become a demon. You're real strong. And Giyu's just packing him. He's just like, man, shut up. I don't give my name to demons. You suck.
Yeah, Giyu's, I don't mess with demons, bro. When they like cut all that bullshit out.
You're lame. Like Rengoku's having like this emotional moment.
Giyu had common sense though, okay? Because the difference between the Giyu and the Rengoku situation is like Giyu was actually swapping hands, like beating the hell out of like, you know, kind of Akaza a little bit. And in one situation, Rengoku's getting mopped, and he's just, nah, I'm not gonna become a demon. Like Giyu has the option. Giyu has the right to say that. Like
he could have done it at any time. He was so strong, like he just didn't need it. He was like, nah, I don't need this. I could beat your ass, bro.
Yeah, bro. Giyu definitely is a spectacle.
Like,
it's also like his power and all, like debatably, just like how he's able to just nullify and make attacks weaker.
Yeah, he just like imagine Akaza did that. He just threw those air palms at like Rengoku and he just died. But here comes like Giyu, just looks at Akaza's attacks, reacts, and power nulls them all at the same time. In base too.
Dismantles them.
Then he gets 100 times stronger and still can do it. And then Akaza evolves, becomes a whole new entity that even Kokoshiba's like, man, I'm sensing something from Akaza. And Giyu blitzes him anyway, in base. He just does it. Just like, man. And he can't even stand up. He's like ranting about how tired humans get just after 10 seconds of fighting at full power. And he's like, I've been fighting at full power this whole time. Then he just blitzes Akaza. He just blitzes him. You could be like, oh, he's focused on Tanjiro, but like, the compass gives him like omnidirectional sensing because Tanjiro's standing right behind Akaza, and Giyu's like confused as shit. He's like, why isn't he fighting like a Tanjiro? He's standing right behind him, obviously implying that he can sense him, which it could, and he only couldn't at that time because of see-through world that Tanjiro had entered. Now Giyu doesn't have the see-through world, but he scales to like Demon Tanjiro in base. And like heavily injured.
Weakened.
So at full
power,
imagine
a full power Giyu.
He'd just be like 100 times stronger than the whole verse. He'd just be
disgusting.
He'd be insane. Like his friends are dead and he still pulls. He gets a cut, then he gets a kid. Like just think about that. He goes to his barber. He's like, give me the short back and sides, bro. Gets his fresh trim. Hits up his goal,
bro. Like crazy.
He just
man gets a haircut, he gets a cut, he has drip. I don't know, like I said, he makes your bitch wet, like everything. He just scales to a stronger demon, like a demon Tanjiro who surpasses moves on. While fatigued, he does all of this, mind you. And you just considerably I don't know, Giyu's it's kind of like noted Giyu was that guy. Like at the start of this series, it's like, yeah, bro, like who is this? Like this motherfucker is just cold. It was there in the beginning.
The progression as a fan in Demon Slayer is you read the Rengoku arc, you're like, man, Rengoku's a beast. Everyone loves Rengoku, right? Rengoku's a fucking shot.
The progression. It's like, oh my god, Giyu, Rengoku, man. Oh,
it goes like this,
you won that fight.
It goes, Rengoku's such a beast. Then they read the Uzui section, like, man, Uzui's so dripped out. He's such a beast. Then they continue on and they're like, Akaza's the goal. Akaza's the goal. Then they keep reading. They're like, Gyome's insane. And then they finally reach the end and they're just like, Giyu's just the coldest. He's just the cleanest. He's just the pinnacle
Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Exactly. But that's the entire list. Number 9 was Uzui, the drippiest. Number 8 was Rengoku, the lamest. Number 7 was Shinobu. We're not going to talk about Shinobu. 6 was Muichiro, the slowest, mentally. 5 was Kanroji, the thickest. 4 was Gyome, the not the strongest. 3 was Saname, the craziest. 2nd was Iguro, discount Orochimaru. And number 1 was Giyu, the coldest. That was the list. I mean, we pretty much covered the equal in parts.
No, they could have. I mean, there's some characters obviously that are like Hashira level 2, mind you, or technically, but they're not actually like official Hashiras. So
yeah, like Giyu runs up to Tanjiro and he's like, "Man, you've long surpassed Hashira level." Like,
yeah, you're already beyond the Hashiras, bro.
Like, but obviously, he's not on the list. If he was on the list, he'd be like above Iguro, between Giyu and Iguro. Yeah. But you have other previous Hashiras like. What's that dude? The person who trained Tanjiro, he was a Hashira. Same was the person who trained Zenitsu. He was also a Hashira. But those guys aren't Hashira anymore. This was just going over like the current Hashira. Yeah,
the current Hashira. Well, these guys aren't even current because half of them like Rengoku's garbage ass like got smoked. So
Hashira. He sucks. I'm gonna upset so many people with this video. So
many people are gonna be angry.
But it's like,
oh, what's wrong? You don't like Rengoku, bro? He won the fight.
He won. Did you see how like Tanjiro was saying like Akaza lost? Oh, it's like, man. But you know, Akaza's the only one who died there, so you tell me who really lost. Rengoku's the only one who died. Excuse me, what the fuck?
Oh man, I feel bad. The only person who I feel like who really took it, man, that arc in general, just Mugen Train is just too much. Like the stupidity that just happens, bro. Like.
That's why like Rengoku was asleep for so long. He was just thinking about, man, she gave me some good back. She got so
yeah, bro.
He was just thinking about like how he piped that girl down, then he just died. Like
yeah,
what
Jesus
a deadbeat
Christ.
Dad.
And like he's you know what's crazy? He probably got the deadbeat dad shit from his deadbeat dad.
Yeah, exactly.
it's a process, bro.
Bro, his little brother's gonna be like mad. He's gonna be a deadbeat dad too.
I mean, listen, to be fair, though, there was the whole thing, like, you know what's crazy about Rengoku? Like, honestly, though, his parent, or at least his father in this case, like, you kind of, like, find out much later in the series, like, what happens, obviously, of why he was acting that way to Rengoku, like, because he didn't want him to be a demon slayer, etc.
Push him away.
But, yeah, it's very funny that he was trying to push his son away just for his son to get dropped on his first mission. Yeah, that's crazy,
slapped.
Bro.
To be fair, it wasn't his first mission because we do have like
the first mission we see.
But in main series, the first mission he undertakes is this train one, and he just gets violated. Like, imagine you're like it's like, how do I explain this? Like, everyone else you're like everyone loves you. Like when everyone found out about his death, they were like really upset. Except Giyu.
Yeah, everybody kind of was. Yeah, Giyu, it's funny, like, you probably put the Giyu reaction on the screen, but it's just like, bro, like, when Giyu finds out about it, like, Giyu doesn't really utter a word, he's just like, damn, okay. So he died. It's like, imagine, like, finding out, like, your neighbor's dog died. It's like, you don't even know them, you're like, that sucks. Like, then you just walk off. You just walk terrible.
Off.
Cool. Let me just keep walking. Damn, bro. People die every day, G.
I bet that was his reaction. It was like, people die every day, G. He just walks off. But Giyu's just the coldest. His best friends with the main character. Tanjiro is also, like, just insanely overpowered. Like,
yeah. Probably do maybe an in-depth, more just go into Tanjiro stuff later. Or something around Coco and his relationship.
Next video is probably going to be something like either a Kokoshiba video, a Yoriichi video, or maybe even something like which has better narrative, Demon Slayer or JJK. We talked about that. But that was the Hashira ranking the Hashira. So thank you for coming on, Oyster. Kuros. You suck, by the way. I hate that name.
Appreciate you.
Sucks. You suck.
I appreciate you for having me on here, man.
Yeah, but also, have you decided?
Decided?
Yeah, decided. This dick.
This dick. Yeah, shut up.